spend and does things on the impulse. And it's sad to see when he goes through these situations. I find it very difficult having depression myself on sharing that with him, but being a good friend, I think it's up to me personally to say, Danny, you need to take your medication, you need to look after yourself. So those quotes from our writing competition are not particularly uplifting or happy ones, but we do include them to give people a sense of what having a mood disorder can feel like. So we've taken you through the prevalence of mood disorders and looked at the signs and symptoms. Now we'll show you how to seek help and how to support someone else. But it's not always easy to encourage another person to seek help. Fear and stigma are often barriers that are hard to overcome. There's fear that you'll be perceived as weak, and funnily enough, we have the image of the footballers here. I do personally believe that that is a huge problem within Australian society. I don't like bringing it up, but it's my own personal opinion. But Australia's a sporting nation. Every time we turn the television on, we're presented with images of our footy players that are held in such high esteem. Yet we also have the representation of our Anzac history, where our forefathers went overseas. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but Australia's bred a culture where the male always has to be the performer, always has to be the guy that sucks it up and just gets on with it. Now, sorry ladies if I use a nasty word, but I'm very, very impressed with 2 years ago a group of young blokes in Sydney formed a mental health group that they call Soften the Fuck Up. Now, I don't mean to say that as a nasty word, but they're a bunch of university kids that, what I'm saying this evening, we're over the fact that, like, as blokes we've got to be guys. Their idea is that they've formed this group to say soften the fuck up, because men used to say, if I'm having a bad day, I'll toughen up, mate, get on with it. But they're trying to say it's okay for a bloke to say, look, I'm not coping, and go and seek help. And truly, it's being a bigger bloke in being able to go to your mate and say, look, I'm not coping, can I have a bit of help, and talking about it, than pushing it aside and getting to a point where you're not coping and you're not surviving. And I found it very interesting one day. Steve Andrews, the founder of Blackdog said to me one day, and it really hit me between the eyes. He said, Rod, you have a young family, you have a wife, consider that if you're not right, the whole family circle's not right. And it's so true. I'm not just pointing the finger at the men tonight, it's both men and women. But when you consider the family circle, it's so true. If you're not looking after yourself, it's affecting everybody. The fear of being labelled or called names, but with more education and understanding, we can have more empathy. Many people are misinformed about the need for medication and fear of seeking help in case they are prescribed medication or fear the side effects that medications may have. But not everyone needs medication. There's the fear of being hospitalised. We've all seen movies where people are put in straitjackets in chaotic or terrifying mental hospitals, but that's Hollywood. It's not really reality. "65% of people with mental illness don't access any treatment. But it's no good ignoring your situation and hoping that your symptoms or problems go away. it will always catch up with you. So if you suspect that you might have depression or bipolar disorder, or are worried about someone else, what do you do? And where do you go to seek help? The first step's quite straightforward. See a doctor. A GP will provide an assessment that will include a general checkup to see whether there are any physical causes or symptoms and assess the nature of the mental health problem. The GP may refer to you a psychiatrist or suggest counselling. GPs can now also refer to psychological services and sessions with an exercise psychologist and claim a Medicare rebate. And that's what I want to put across tonight, that I find, I'm not too sure about the region of Orange and Molong, but sadly in Tamworth, when I did Blackdog Ride 3 years ago, it was the first fundraiser that I'd ever done in my life. Sadly, I would walk down the street and ask for sponsorship or meet people in the street and say, look, I'm representing Blackdog Ride, raising funds for the Blackdog Institute as a beneficiary. And surprisingly, 90% of people would say, oh, I've heard of the Blackdog Institute, what do they do? And sadly, 99% of those people had no idea. And this is why I'm here tonight, and this is what we really do this for, is that the general public for a large amount of time haven't been aware that there is an option. People are familiar with Lifeline, Beyond Blue, all the other mental health organisations, but sadly weren't aware that the Blackdog Institute exists. And you can actually go along to your GP, ask for a referral to the Blackdog Institute. There's no out-of-pocket expense, and you'll be diagnosed and they will take over the situation for you with no problem at all. Depending on the severity of your depression, some medication may be prescribed to relieve symptoms. A good tip is to book a long consultation, as it can take time to explore all the issues associated with making accurate diagnosis. It's also important to know that for various reasons the first GP you visit may not be the right one for you. You may feel uncomfortable talking with your doctor about how you're feeling. And I really stress that if you do feel you're uncomfortable with your local GP or who you are seeing, just go on to the next one. And you'll eventually become comfortable with a GP that you feel comfortable with, and you'll have that rapport, and it becomes a lot easier. The Blackdog Institute are currently quite involved in rural Australia in making more GPs and more doctors in rural areas aware of their existence. So there's currently a program that's educating even the medical system to the existence of the Blackdog Institute. If you